All right, so three U.S. service members were killed in Jordan from an Iranian-backed, I'm guessing Houthi rebels, Iranian-backed proxy. Regardless, a drone strike killed three and injured several others. So that whole conflict, it's looking like more and more and more escalation, right? This just can't go well, in my opinion. These people need to stop what they're doing. If it takes the United States to stop them, then whatever. But Joe Biden should still get congressional approval first before just going out rogue on his own and just drone striking people in the Middle East. We have gotten ourselves into so much BS in the Middle East. It makes people's heads swim, if you know what I mean. It's like, why are we still in the Middle East meddling in Middle Eastern affairs? Well, one reason is because there's a lot of shipping that goes through the Red Sea. Now, I can understand defending this shipping that goes on, but when you're actively drone striking people, okay, now we're having an issue here, right? If it wasn't for our meddling in all these affairs, maybe these people wouldn't be drone striking every single shipping container ship that comes through. They're just striking every damn thing, right? Enough of that. So we've got like 10 different states are sending National Guard to Texas to back up Texas, folks. This is also escalating and does not bode well for the United States. It's looking more and more like we're pushing toward a quote-unquote civil war, which nobody wants this right now, especially me, because I'm right next door to where this is all going on. I'm just a few hours away from Eagle Pass. I don't want the United States to go into a civil war. The Biden administration needs to get its shit together and do its damn job. And you wouldn't have to worry about the Texas National Guard and the Oklahoma National Guard and South Dakota National Guard and all these other people coming in to stop federal agents from allowing people to come across the border. This is absolutely nuts, and I cannot stress this point enough. Federal agents are being stopped by Texas National Guard from smuggling humans into this country. I know I mention the border every single day just about now because there's always something going on that border, and I'm going to keep railing against it because it is absolutely nuts what the Biden administration is doing. But let me get off of that. Nikki Haley attacks Donald Trump, his mental capacity. He's more mentally capable than she is. There's something wrong with her. There's all kinds of other stuff going on. But what's up, y'all? How the hell's your day going? I hope y'all are having a pretty good day. This here is Legitical Response. We cover political news, keep you up to date with what the government is doing, because we all need to know what the government is doing. Because if it wasn't for keeping up with what the government is doing, we wouldn't know what the government is doing, and that's a very, very bad thing. We need to know about all this. We need to know what Congress is doing, what the White House is doing, especially right now, what the White House is doing, right? Because they're doing some underhanded crap, and it needs to stop. But if you are interested in staying informed and staying up to date with all this stuff, smash that subscribe button for me if you don't mind. Turn on your notifications, because YouTube is not going to put it up in your feed automatically. They don't want people like me spreading the message that I spread, telling the truth, combating their narrative, going against the mainstream narrative machines narrative that they like to spit out. They love to lie, and that's what we're covering today. So if y'all could hit that subscribe button for me, and if you don't mind, it would be a big help and a favor to me personally if you would smash that like button for me. Just look right below the video and smash that like button. It would be a very big help. But enough of my ranting. Let's get into some news, because the narrative machine is twisting and turning their little narrative that they love to sow, and it is causing people to go absolutely insane. Check this out, y'all. GOP legislatures in some states seek ways to undermine voters' ability to determine abortion rights. Yes, this is called a constitutional republic. Now, you might be wondering, why did I say that? You'll see once we get into the story, but it sounds like Republicans trying to make it to where your voice can't be heard. that's not it. That's not it at all. That headline makes Republicans look really bad, and Republicans are just doing their job, right? Let's get into it, though, y'all. Legislative efforts in Missouri and Mississippi are attempting to prevent voters from having a say over abortion rights, building on anti-abortion strategies seen in other states, including last year in Ohio. Here we go, y'all. Democrats and abortion rights advocates say the efforts are evidence that Republican lawmakers and abortion opponents are trying to undercut democratic processes meant to give voters a direct role in forming state laws. This goes completely against our Constitution. We have a constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. And Democrats love to use that, oh, we're defending our democracy. They're trying to take our democracy away. No, that's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to uphold our Constitution. Our forefathers created a very elaborate, well-balanced system that has checks and balances from all different sides to keep all three branches of government in check at the same time. And they all keep each other in check. This is a very, very good system, and it has been working out really, really well. However, Democrats love to spout their Democrat garbage out there and saying, oh, we should have a direct vote in our democracy. Wait, what? What democracy? This is a republic. This is not a democracy. We vote in representatives through democratic processes. Those representatives are the ones that make our laws. They are the legislative branch. They are, generally speaking, lawyers that know the law, know how the language of the law works, and so they know how to build this stuff. And they build these laws and they legislate on public sentiments. So your voice is being heard. Direct democracy would be absolute insanity. They're scared of the people and their voices, so their response is to prevent their voices from being heard, said Lori Bertram Roberts, executive director of Mississippi Reproductive Freedom Fund. There's nothing democratic about that, and it's the same blueprint we've seen in Ohio and all these other states again and again and again. Right? There we go, with spouting some nonsense. Since the U.S. Supreme Court overturned the constitutional right to abortion in 2022, voters in 7 states have either protected abortion rights or defeated attempts to curtail them in statewide votes. Democrats have pledged to make the issue a central campaign topic this year for races up and down the ballot. I love how the Democrats love to spout about Roe versus Wade. They say, oh, it's my constitutional right to kill my unborn child. They say, oh, Roe versus Wade took that away from us. That is a lie. That is an outright lie. Do not let the narrative machine fool you. All Roe versus Wade done is say the federal government cannot tell the states what to do with this issue. It gives direct control to the states, which is how our constitutional republic was set up in the first place. If you live in a state that says, yes, we want people to have the right to murder their unborn child up into including birth, and if you agree with that, then you go ahead and you go live in that state. You go one state over, which Oklahoma and Colorado totally exemplify this, because Colorado doesn't have any restrictions on abortion, while Oklahoma has an outright ban. You go one state over, no, you can't kill your kids at all. You get pregnant, you got to live with those consequences. That is how our republic was set up. So when they say, oh, they took our constitutional rights away, no, they didn't. They relinquished control of the constitutional rights to the states, and the states decide if they want that to be a right or not. That is how our constitutional system is set up. That is how it is supposed to work. The federal government is not supposed to have total control over the states. I understand having certain laws and stuff federally cauterized in the Constitution. The Bill of Rights, for instance. Great. But when it comes to stuff like abortion, people tend to disagree on that. So that's when you relinquish that control to the state. If you don't like the laws in your state, either change them or move to another state. That is the beauty of our system. A proposal passed Wednesday by the Mississippi House would ban residents from placing abortion initiatives on the statewide ballot. Mississippi has among the toughest abortion restrictions in the country, with the procedure banned except to save the life of the woman or in cases of rape or incest. In response to the bill, Democratic Rep. Shaika Taylor said direct democracy shouldn't include terms and conditions. Right. Once again, like I said, this is a Democrat spouting democratic nonsense, acting like that the country is a democracy. It is not. It is a constitutional republic. I've already went over all this. And that the Democrats love to use this to fool people into thinking that we're a democracy. You hear it all over the place. We got to save our democracy. We got to save our democracy. No, I'm sorry. We vote in representatives. That is our voice. So if you want your voice heard, that's who you go vote for, your representative. If you don't like your representative, get out there and campaign for a different representative. Write your congressman a letter. That's another way. Don't let anyone tell you this is just about abortion, Taylor said. This is about a Republican Party who thinks they know what's best for you better than you know what's best for you. This is about control. So much for liberty and limited government. Once again, democratic nonsense they're spouting here. No, that is not about control. It is about the system that we have. The resolution is an attempt to revive a ballot initiative process in Mississippi, which has been without one since 2021, when the state Supreme Court ruled that the process was invalid because it required people to gather signatures from the state's 5 previous U.S. House districts. Mississippi dropped to 4 districts after the 2000 census, but the initiative language was never updated. Republican Rep. Frank Shanks said House Republicans would not have approved the resolution, which will soon head to the Senate without the abortion exemption. Some House Republicans said voters should not be allowed to vote on changing abortion laws because Mississippi originated the legal case that overturned Roe v. Wade. That makes it sound like, oh, they shouldn't be doing this. No, we have representatives for a reason. If you don't like the decisions that your representative made, vote for a new one, folks. That is what this is all about. And for some reason, these people want direct democracy on something like this. If you don't know, direct democracy would be absolute chaos. It's minority rule. It's minority rule in the sense that, let me give you an example. If they have direct democracy on abortion, right? So you put an abortion initiative out there, right? 10% of the population thinks abortion should be banned. Another 10% thinks that, 6 weeks is a good cutoff. Another 10%, 8 weeks, and so on, right? But if you get 11% of the population that thinks that there should be 0 restrictions on abortion, that, up to birth, essentially, then you have 11% of the population ruling over the other 89% who have a much more reasonable outlook on abortion. Because when you look at abortion, this is insane up to birth. You're absolutely murdering a human being at that point. The vast majority of people agree with that. What they don't agree with is the cutoff date. So you get some insane crap where people can kill their kids. If they're in labor and just decide, I don't want this baby no more, what are you going to do at that point? They can absolutely kill that baby. That is minority rule, and that is why we do not have direct democracy on stuff like this. That is why we have representatives that know the law, that know how to set up the language to legislate, essentially. It's not about controlling the people. That's where they lie to you. It's about giving the right person the power to do a job, somebody that knows what they're doing. You just let anybody willy-nilly legislate, you're going to have some ridiculous crap. You know, you give a bunch of people like an ingredients list for supper, right? You'll end up with like pot roast that was roasted in ketchup with chocolate chip muffins and crab legs or some stupid crap. You get some insane crap thrown together from direct democracy because this group of people like this and this group of people like this, and so they just mix it all together. That would be absolute insanity. And that's why the forefathers feared direct democracy, and that's why they chose a republic system. Because it gives people that are knowledgeable about laws to actually be the people that write and make the laws. But they give the people the choice of who to put in that place. It's a very, very complicated, but yet at the same time, simplistically beautiful system. And the Democrats just want to destroy that. It took 50 years to overturn Roe v. Wade. Mississippi House Republican Speaker Jason White, a Republican. We weren't going to let it just be thrown out the window by folks coming in from out of state spending $50 million and running an initiative through. But Mississippi Democrats, an abortion access organization, panned the exemption as limiting the voice of the people. This is an extremely undemocratic way to harm access to reproductive health care, said Sophia Tomov, operations coordinator with Access Reproductive Care Southeast, a member of the Mississippi Abortion Access Coalition. It's infringing on people's ability to participate in the democratic process. No, it's not. We, the people, do not choose what laws go into place. We vote in a representative. These people are just nuts. They're trying to lie to you. And it pisses me off because this is the news. This is NBC News just outright lying to us, not trying to combat the narrative whatsoever. But hey, freedom of speech, right? That's what I'm here for, to combat that narrative. In Missouri, one of several states where an abortion rights initiative could go before voters in the fall, a plan supported by anti-abortion groups would require initiatives to win a majority vote in 5 of the state's 8 congressional districts, in addition to a simple statewide majority. The proposal comes days after a Missouri abortion rights campaign launched its ballot measure efforts aiming to enshrine abortion rights into the state constitution. Missouri abortion rights group have criticized Republican Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, saying he is attempting to impede the initiative by manipulating the measure's ballot summary. A Missouri appeals court recently found the summaries were politically partisan and misleading, just like the Democrats. When asked during a recent committee hearing if the GOP proposal was an attempt to get rid of direct democracy, which we do not have direct democracy, Republican State Rep Ed Lewis said, "I think that our founding fathers were as fearful of direct democracy as we should be. That's why they created a republic." Thank you, Mr. Ed Lewis. Sam Lee, lobbyist for Campaign Life Missouri, testified on Tuesday for the need for provisions like this that make sure the rights of the minority aren't trampled on. The concern of our forefathers and the concern of many people throughout the decades and years is to avoid having a tyranny of the majority, he said. Democratic Senate Minority Leader John Rizzo said controlling who can vote and on what subjects has been the highest priority of the Republican Party for the last 20 years. "This is how democracies die," he said in an interview. "We are watching it in real time. This is the scariest moment that I've ever seen in my life." And I couldn't be happier about that. This is right. We are not a democracy, folks. We are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic, and the system is working at 100% capacity, at optimal capacity, I should say. And I absolutely love it when Democrats whinge about stuff like this. We do not have direct democracy. Like I explained earlier, direct democracy would be a tyranny of the minority. He said majority, but it is the majority, but when you break it down to something like abortion, it's tyranny of the minority. Because like I said,
89% of the people would believe in some sort of limit to abortion, while this fringe 11%, just because they had 1 more percent, would think that you can just kill your kid at any point up until birth. Nobody agrees with that except for that 11%. Nobody absolutely agrees with that. They just can't agree on a cutoff date. And this is exactly why direct democracy is absolute insanity. We cannot have direct democracy. That's why we have representatives. I love our system outright because, we've got Congress to represent the people, to represent me and you, right? Then we have the Senate. That represents the state's interests, which can get a little bit convoluted, but it's proper, right? Because the state is an entity itself and needs to have representation in the federal government. So it's perfect. You have the executive branch that controls the federal government's, all the agencies, and they do their thing. State has the same thing. We have governors for the states, which is the president. That's the executive branch for the state. It's just beautifully set up. Then you have the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the best check and balance over all of this, right? If a state passes a law that goes against the Bill of Rights or goes against the Constitution of that state, then the Supreme Court looks at it and says, no, this violates the Constitution right here. This is why. And they overturn it, right? Like if a state legislature just got in its mind and said, yeah, we want abortion rights up until 2 years after birth. That would be nuts, folks. That would be absolutely nuts. The Supreme Court would then come in and say, no, you can't do that. That's called murder. We have laws against that. You can't do that. It's checks and balances. It's beautifully set up. And I love our system. It's the greatest system on the planet, if you ask me. But that's all I got for this one. Let me know what you guys think about all this. Let me know what you think about our democratic system, right? Our republic. Do you think that we should have direct democracy voting on everything? Or have it set up like it is, like we have it? We vote direct democracy on who gets to make our laws for us. Let me know what you think about all this down in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys. Like I said, that's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. And by the way, a quick message. I'm having some issues with my device, my phone. Half of my screen is broken. So if my videos are a little bit splotchy, I didn't make a video yesterday. My video for Friday, I uploaded this morning because of my phone. I finally got it to work and was able to finish editing. I had to uninstall my program and reinstall it because it was messing up on me. So I'm having all kind of issues. So I apologize if my videos are a little bit splotchy. At least up until next week, I'm getting a new phone. So hopefully that'll be resolved by Thursday, Friday. I should have everything set up and worked out. So if I happen to not post a video, that's why. Because I'm having some issues, folks. So like I said, I thank y'all for watching. And y'all try to be positive and have a good day. Peace.